Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon. It's morning for Robert. I'm not sure where Susanna is. We'll find out soon. Um, so depending on where you're calling from, I hope you're well, and I hope the start of the week has been going well for you. Are we feeling energized? I know I am today. I've just thought, I don't know why I didn't even get a nap, but I'm feeling really energized. And I'm feeling like really generous and excited as well. So that's a good place to be. But this isn't about me. It's all about you. For those who I've not met before, my name is Cindy Nicholson. I'm the CEO of Braintree, which is a global executive and leadership coaching company. And we work with clients from all over the world, offering executive coaching, mentoring, business advisory services, and supporting our associates. So that's people just like you guys. And in fact, we've got an associate here with us today, Tanya, who will be joining in on our chat with us in a little bit. Those who are new to our webinars, you're in for a real treat. We hold monthly webinars where we often have presenters that are usually our associates. So we actually enable them to take front and center stage to our communities, which is over tens of thousands now. They get to share their skills and expertise and share some of their insights. So everybody gets enormous value from being on these sessions. But today you've got me. But more importantly, let's get to know each other. Being here in Sydney, Australia, it happens to be the land of Gadigal people. For over 70,000 years, they've been hunting, fishing, and working here. So this is the land upon which I now have the privilege to live and raise my family. And I want to thank them for looking after the land of which I've lived, worked, and played for almost 30 years. And I'd like to thank you all for joining us here today as well. Now, what we want is for you to get value from this session. We value our communities and our clients, and we strive to constantly create spaces for collaboration. So you might even find that amongst everybody here tonight, there's someone that you wish to take a conversation offline with, and we absolutely encourage that. I'm going to quickly just set the scene for what we'll go through together today and just set some expectations. And as I said, we're focused on our communities, which comprises of our clients and associates. And I'm so thrilled to say that we're going to hear from Danielle and from Tanya today, both incredibly successful women and leaders, so you don't have to listen to me all the time. And as I said, I call this a meeting because it's about growing awareness amongst our communities. I'm not going to be putting a hard sell on you. My intention today is to make you aware of the art of the possibilities and what we can actually do to support you. You can choose to embrace this, and you can choose to contemplate it, or you could just choose to do nothing. Each will have your own consequences that you know will be a result of your choices, and that's absolutely fine. We're going to talk about the why. Why did this opportunity arise for our associates and communities? And we're also going to talk about how you can help your clients master leadership through a new lens and advance their career development through our flagship product, which is called the New Age Leadership Program. I'm going to take you under the hood for an exclusive view at the program, and then you're going to hear from Danielle as she shares with you her experience throughout the program as an end user. Essentially, just imagine her as one of your clients, and you'll have the chance to ask questions. And Danielle very kindly offered to join, so she's volunteered her time to come here today. She's actually really quite passionate about the program, which is so beautiful to hear. She's going to spend some time to share her experience with this group, and you've got lots of opportunity to ask her questions. We'll look at the experience from a certified practitioner's perspective as well. Tanya is one of our associates, and she's going to share her experience with you. So she's a coach just like you. And again, Tanya, thank you for offering to join us today. We're really grateful for your time. So with that said, let's kick on. And before I do, you're probably wondering what all the birds are doing on the back of that screen. If we never had the courage to take a leap of faith, we'd be cheating God out of a chance to mount us up with wings like eagles and watch us soar. Our intention today is hopefully to help you get to that point where you can be that eagle that soars. So where are you going right now? Where's your business headed? I'd love to get a feel from this group and invite you to join me by either dropping an answer in the chat box or by simply sort of shouting it out. You can come off mute and tell us. But I'm interested in knowing where you're heading right now. Are you just starting out? Are you trying to grow your business? Are you looking for lifestyle changes? And are you on the right tracks to reaching your goals? Yes or no? If no, what's holding you back? All being well, I can see everybody's already started answering the questions, starting out, growing. That's fantastic. Well, you're absolutely all in the right place. And just another question, how long have you been coaching for? I know some of you have said that you're just starting. Some of you might be less than a year, more than a year. Some might be 5 years plus. Would you like to increase your client base? Yes, sure. I'd be surprised if anybody says no to that. Would you like to work smart hours? And would you like to increase your revenue whilst working smartly? Yeah, who doesn't? But importantly, what is your biggest challenge? What's your biggest challenge in your business at the moment? You might be starting out, you might be looking to just understand what it is that you're going to be focusing on, how you're going to get clients, but what would that biggest challenge be? Thank you all for participating in that. It's really engaging and I appreciate that. So it's quite difficult sometimes when you're starting your business and you're stepping into a new area and you really, you feel quite vulnerable when you're opening up to other people and sort of sharing your story. I know we've just sort of done a few snippets there, but this is a really safe environment. All of our webinars are safe for everybody to participate in. It's confidential. Obviously, if there's anything that we talk about in this session that you don't want to have on the recording, you just let us know and we make sure that's edited out. But, talking about vulnerability, I'm going to step into that space with you. I'm actually just going to share a little bit of a story with you. So I'm going to take you back about 11 years. In fact, it actually started about 14 years ago and I was in a bit of a mess. I was just divorced. I got 2 young children. I was working full time. I doubled my mortgage. And what I didn't know was that I was about to lose my job. But a dear friend of mine recommended that I try some life coaching. And I'd never heard of it before, but I was really curious. So I made some inquiries and I found an amazing lady. Her name's Susan Farrell. She doesn't even know I'm talking about her right now. She's still a life coach. So if anyone wants a great life coach, just let me know and I'll put you in touch. That's how our community works here, by the way. But she totally changed my world. And at that time, I remember thinking, my goodness, everyone needs this. I'd been working in really high-powered, fast-paced, and dare I say it, male-dominated organizations, and I could see everyone around me who would benefit from this coaching. So I made a mental note to myself, become an executive coach. And for those who know me, that's basically, right, when do we start? I don't do anything by half. So not only did I qualify with the International Coach Federation, but I landed a position with the board of ICF Australia for a few years. So when I'm passionate about something, I'm really passionate. Anyway, after losing my job in 2012, I was asked to join Singtel Group and they asked me to build a $50 million business over 5 years in the financial services industry. Easy, right? Well, determined and passionate old me found a way, but amongst that, I was nurturing my passion as an executive coach and I embarked on helping my colleagues break through their barriers and achieve their true potential. And it was so amazing and so rewarding. These people still come back to me now for ongoing support and they each have an incredible story to tell. And then in 2019, I decided my mission had been accomplished at Singtel and I wanted to embark on my new career as an executive coach. I took a voluntary redundancy. I took the cash to support me financially. I was quite nervous about it, but anyway, I started my business. And despite the fact I'd been in tech startups and had a background in business developments, I had little idea that it was going to be so hard. It was really, really full on. It was just the array of connections, the technology that I had to meet and learn, and everything was just quite overwhelming. And I felt really alone. Does anybody feel alone sometimes in their business? It's like, you just get to that. And being C-suite, Danielle, at the top, it's a very lonely place. It can be, who do you have as mentors that are inside the organization? It's a really difficult place to be sometimes. And like I said, I had so much to learn in technology, administration, marketing, you name it. So I was working in my business, not on my business. And I realized that I needed to grow and scale up. But I knew I had to shift my business model from being one-to-one to one-to-many. And I knew I had to automate as much as possible. And I needed to leverage solutions that would give my clients incredible value, but not take up all my time. And I was getting burned out. So I really, really needed help. Heidi's saying, yes, it does get lonely working for yourself. The good network helps. Absolutely, absolutely. So here we are, and I'm still at it. Like it's 4 years down the track and I'm still here. I love what I do. I understand the challenges that we all face, and I have a really generous heart, and I'm very generous with my time, almost to a fault. Why? Because I love helping people. I know what it's like to be there, and I just really want to help people get through that. But last year I made a decision, and it was the hardest decision, but the best decision in my business. And I stopped to take a breath. I mean, can you imagine, like crazy woman running around like headless chicken all the time? stopping and taking a breath. It was probably one of the most challenging things I did. But anyway, I had lots of one-to-one clients and I was coaching with great results, but I was limited by the hours I was available for. And with 2 teenagers going through HSC in consecutive years, planning my wedding and building a house, there was a lot going on. So I decided to create a leadership program like nothing else. And I touch on all the subjects that are so critical to business today, but are often overlooked. The significance of certain topics are costing businesses millions of dollars. So if you want to go public, for example, with your business on an exchange, it's recommended that you have an ESG policy. Not many companies have ESG policies. These topics are really critical to the strategic success of companies today. And in a world of skills shortages, you can take the pick of the best talent by offering an environment to work that is congruent with their values. So if you can embrace emerging technologies to automate and protect your business, you can gain a competitive advantage, and on it goes. Who really has the vision of seeing all of that in leadership roles? We're often caught up in the business as usual. And obviously not forgetting that we live in a normal world now of hybrid. So the program was actually developed to be both online and have one-on-one virtual coaching. And it's called the New Age Leadership Program. So it was launched towards the end of last year, and currently we've got 14 people going through the program as well. And Danielle was one of our fast trackers, and she's going to talk to you about it in just a minute. You're probably eager at this stage to kind of jump in and see what the product actually looks like. So what I might actually do is run you through a cut down part of a video that I did, and Danielle will remember this. When we onboard people, and this is what we do for our coaches as well, we provide all of that sort of information as part of the onboarding process, so you don't have to do anything. All your clients can understand exactly what's ahead of them. But we did a quick cut down version of that so that you'll be able to see exactly what's involved in the program. And once I've given you that, and you've got loads of questions going on in your head, I'm then going to hand over to Danielle, and I'm going to stop talking, and then I'm going to let Tanya talk, and you guys can all just have a big free for all between you. So if everyone's okay with that, I'm going to jump on to running this video for you. So what I want to do is just jump in and tell you a bit more about the program, and then I'm going to just show you what it looks like and also what you can expect at the end of it, because we're all working towards a goal, and that goal is to actually create your own best practice new age leadership framework. And so you're going to basically have that on one page by the end of this, but you're also going to have sitting behind that a whole bunch of tools that are going to help you with the implementation. You're going to have PowerPoint decks that are made for you. You're going to have Word documents that are set up for you. Now, this program is actually really, really unique. This is something incredibly different. It actually addresses current topics that most organizations are facing now, but some of them actually don't even realize that they need to embrace them and face them. And in the next couple of years, it's going to be mandatory for them to do this. So by you doing this program, you're already ahead of the curve. When you complete this, you're going to have that suite of resources and tools that's going to set you up to stand out from the crowd. So you're going to be able to leverage your career in ways that you hadn't ever dreamed of, and you're going to draw on decades of experience that's actually gone into building this program that is all at your fingertips. So let's get started on what that really looks like. So as a certified New Age leader, you're going to be able to implement the learnings into your organization, whether that's a current one or a future one, or it could be across your business division. It could be in any aspect of your leadership roles right now. You're going to start to teach other people those philosophies and frameworks. So I know a number of you are already leading other teams, so you're going to be able to get others to come on board and learn the same sort of techniques. So you're going to create a followership for yourself as a leader. You're going to be able to integrate culture and leadership into technology and process transformation projects. So you'll understand that technology and processes come together, but people is an essential part of that transformation. So this is going to be the cog in the wheel that you're going to need to really make that successful. So that's really, really exciting for you. So whether you're part of a startup, you'll get your foundations laid. If you're a scale up, you're going to be in a position where you're ready to say, hey, we're going to grow this business. What do we need to do to get all of our ducks lined up? It's going to give you all of that. And importantly, it's going to ensure that you attract compatible talent, because you're going to become the place or the leader that people are going to want to work for or in.
we're in a world where there's a whole bunch of skill shortage going on. When you go to an organization, you go in with purpose, you go in with your own values, and you want to know, is that organization actually congruent with my own values and purpose? So what do you do around environmental, sustainability, governance? Do you have a diverse organization? Do you have flexible working hours? That's what people are asking for now. And in a world where we've got skill shortage, we need to know that we're attracting that talent to us. So this is what's going to really help you be able to do that. Now, what else? You're going to be, I'll flick through this very quickly. You're going to be adopting a mindset that aligns to best modern practice and is perfectly aligned to your organization. So it's your own best practice framework that you're going to be developing. You're going to lead and drive new initiatives based on sound awareness. So somebody else said, I really want to stand out from the crowd. That's what you're going to be able to do. You're going to be able to accelerate your organization or your business division or your company into a new world, creating that relevance for the future and sustainability for the planet. You'll be able to enable human transformation amongst your communities, and you'll be able to create your own customized framework that you'll be able to use anywhere, and you're going to get lots and lots of new skills and insights to really excel as a leader. So I think that's really exciting. Often technology and processes are a focal area around transformation, and we really feel that that people part of it needs to be embraced. So how do you create, as a leader, the people to follow you in those particular beliefs? Essentially, what this is for leaders, it's for aspiring leaders, it's for founders, it's for executives and board members. And that's right across from startups, scale-ups, small to medium enterprises, right up to large corporations. So it covers absolutely every area. So it doesn't matter where you are on that area, you're going to find some use for this. Now, in the program, I will jump to it in a second, you're going to cover 5 core areas that are going to make you a new age leader. Each of those modules are going to drill down into each of the subjects. Now, there's a really important part around here, culture and structure. It's actually really, really important. And what will happen is you'll go through those modules and you'll create what you think should be your culture and your structure. And then later on, as you go through all the other lessons, you may well come back and you'll revise that and tweak it a little bit, because you're going to learn how new age leaders and new age companies are actually setting up their own. You're going to go through in-depth knowledge on each of those sections. You'll come into the training platform and you'll set up your own username and password, and you'll get straight into the program. And the first thing that will happen is you'll get this welcome video. Then there's going to be a bit more of an introduction. We're going to have a little bit of a get to know you session. So you'll fill in QR code, read this, or you'll go to a Survey Monkey and you'll give a little bit more information about what you're doing. And then there's a little bit more of a welcome video. You've got in here all of your email addresses for support. We also have the code of ethics for the International Coach Federations. It's everything that we talk about is confidential, and you need to know that you can be in that trusted and safe place when we have those coaching sessions. So that's just a little bit of background for you. There's some PowerPoint slides here as well for you. Then you'll go through an overview, and then we get straight into module 1. Now, each of the modules have got 6 lessons. Again, it's just going to automatically play. You'll have the opportunity to download your workbook, and then we go through every single one of these. By the end, you'll have exercises. Now, after the first module, you've got a 2-week window. So you can jump on and you can do this anytime in those 2 weeks. The reason we do it in 2 weeks, you can really embed your learnings. So it's not like this is going to take you, hours and hours and hours to do. You can go through it quite quickly. You can pick it up, drop it whenever you want. It's all self-paced, but you can sort of have a look and say, actually we talked about that in this part of the program. What's happening around my environment now? And you get to learn and think about what you've been taking on board and how you can actually implement the changes. So what you'll find is it will drip feed. So even once you've finished module 1, it'll be 2 weeks, and then the second one will come along for you. So the next thing you'll do is you'll start going through organizational structure. Again, very similar experience to before. And then the really sexy stuff happens when you start to get to the future of work. So you're going to look at, what does future of work mean? You're going to look at sustainability, ESG, CSR, all the really cool subjects that are just so different and that are going to make you stand out from the crowd as a new age leader. So you've got diversity, equity, inclusion. You're going to be looking at virtual leadership. You're going to be looking into the Great Resignation and the reason for these skills that we're talking about. And then we're going to have a look at your leadership style as well. So how are you actually showing up currently as a leader? And in all of these things, you're going to have downloadable documents and resources that you can go into. Now, at the end of module 3 is when you are going to have your first coaching session. And when we go through that coaching session, we're going to be talking about what have you been learning? What have you been experiencing? What's coming up for you? Are you seeing any challenges? Are you seeing any barriers to what you're trying to do? And we'll have a one-on-one coaching session for an hour together where we'll talk through all of those things. So you're going to be ready to get onto the next 3 modules. So the next 3 modules, we're going to talk about technology and data. We'll cover data privacy. So we'll talk about the notifiable data breach scheme as a bit in there as well. We'll share an interview with you that I've done with one of the privacy commissioners of Australia. And we're going to look at ecosystems and collaboration, emerging technology, cyber resilience and risk. And we're going to look at technology as enabler. And this is a really exciting part too, because in this module, you're going to have a look at what are the emerging technologies. You're going to get a bit of a snippet of each of those, and then you're going to look at it and going to come up with an idea of how I can implement that where I work now to maybe drive down costs, create better operational efficiencies, and just create a nice little project for yourself where you can do that. But what's more important is when you know the results of that, how do you share that? So who do you need to get into the head of to tell these people, come up with this great new initiative? Look at me, I'm a fantastic new leader. But how do you get that across the line? All of that is going to be in here for you. You're going to be taken through the process of how you even excel that up through your organization. Then we're going to be looking at you as a new age leader. What are the principles that you're going to apply? How do you bring coaching into your leadership style? And you're going to look at personal branding, thought leadership, forward thinking, keeping momentum, again, lots of resources. And then the final part is when it all really comes together. So you're going to have a framework on a page, you're going to have the template for in the Word document, you're going to have a PowerPoint presentation, and then finally you're going to book your final coaching session in here as well, and you're going to have all the resources to download and deliver. So this is an example of what the Word document will look like. So it's quite comprehensive. You've got a whole index here that when you just basically go in and you fill in all the gaps. So what are my principles here? What's the reason for what I'm doing? What are the drivers behind it? And those things are going to come up individually for you that are relative to your organization. So this document is going to serve you to be able to go ahead and put your recommendations forward in your own organizations, should you choose to use a Word document. That's essentially your framework on a page. So this is going to be completed by you. You'll have set your vision, your mission, and your values. And I know some of you work for big organizations and they already have their own vision, mission, and values, which is actually fine to align with them. But this is essentially what you're going to have at the end on a page.
So hopefully that's given you a little bit more of a very quick insight, under the hood look at what we're doing.
No, all good.
And I'm hearing my voice.
Look, thank you, Cindy, for the opportunity. I did volunteer because I have just finished working as a COO. For 30 years, I've been working in corporates, listed entities in either governance roles, HR, managing a lot of people, been in C-suite for the last 20 years, and chose to leave the business because I felt slightly burnt out, but I felt that the values that I now had wasn't aligned with the business that I was at, and I was becoming an angry person myself, and I decided that I needed to exit that role and to then spend some time developing myself and then potentially looking for my next role. I met Cindy through the group that I worked in, had a women in leadership or a women within this brand, which was excellent from a networking perspective. And I was introduced to Cindy and Braintree and applied to do this course. And I am so grateful that I have. It came at the right time. But it also, what attracted me to this program was that it was new age leadership. And I've done a lot of leadership courses, whether it's through a university or for various organisations. But this really, it was something that I realised it's missing within a lot of corporates. ESG, CSR, technology, understanding it from a leadership perspective. I think there's a real lack of understanding, or people lack confidence in this area. And so we don't want to ask questions because we feel we might be the person in the room that's the most naive. So I undertook to do this. I thought I was going to do the fast track, and I sort of did because I wanted to get through it. I was very excited, but I actually realised that it's more beneficial to do it the way in which Cindy intended it to be, which is to have a break between each module, because it's really about reflecting the information that you get as an individual. As I'm doing it I don't stop thinking about it, and how I first start with my thoughts change. So what I love about it, Cindy, is that it's online, self-paced, but I love that you get workbooks. I actually felt that that really assisted me in listening to the content, learning, taking notes down, and then going back throughout my day or the week or the following week and changing my mind or views. So I think the way the program works is excellent. The program works for me as a senior leader to reset my thoughts and to rebalance, like to go back to the basics on my values and leadership. But it also gave me a great education and awareness on those things like cyber. And Tanya, thank you for your courses that are part of it as well, because they were so terminology and understanding the basic things about technology that often confuse people. It really, really provided it to me in a simple form that I now feel confident as a leader to be able to talk about those things, whether they're AI or automation, etc. So what I want to say is I did it for myself, but as a leader of people, I can see where this is so beneficial to groups. I can see where it's beneficial to boards, C-suite, new leaders, talent, as individuals, as groups, because it brings people together as well as focusing on your own individual needs. The other thing is it absolutely needs coaching hand in hand with it, because whilst I did a lot of reflection myself and learned a lot, I really felt it gave me a basis to want to have conversations with a coach about those things and to develop my thoughts. There's in this program, there I think 2 or 3 opportunities for coaching. Cindy, I think in one of my notes to you, I think if I was rolling this out to groups of people or recommending coaches within my next business, I'll be recommending that post this program, there's a 1 month or a 3-month follow-up as well, because I think the information that you're learning and developing within this, you're continually building on. And I think it needs reflection with someone. So my view with this is coaching, it's a great tool for coaches to give to leaders to allow for further conversation on new age leadership. But I also think it goes beyond that. I really do, Cindy, because even today in a job that I'm just doing short term for someone that was last minute, I'm thinking about the things I've learned in the last 4 weeks, and I'm already applying them within this role that I've got. So I know I've sort of said a lot, but I just want to say it's the content is easy to listen to. It's extremely educational. I think I've used the word, Cindy, in my feedback. It's addictive. I felt that I wanted to get to the next part, but it's learning things about leadership that are not traditional. So whilst there's traditional aspects in there, like vision and culture and values, there's other parts that really, like hybrids and what COVID did from us of managing people remotely or working relationships, but really makes you think differently about the needs of myself and the needs of individuals that I may be leading. So, I mean, I'm happy to ask any questions, but I couldn't recommend it more highly to anyone, to be honest, and I will be, because doing it myself, I can see the benefits already.
Daniel, that's just amazing. And you know what? It's just so heartwarming, just personally for me, because I've put my heart and soul into building this program with things that I thought would be relevant. And so to hear that coming back from an end user and somebody with your caliber of experience and leadership experience is really amazing. And I just like that part when you said the content is addictive. It's sort of like, it makes me think about when you have that book, you know, and you just got that book that you can't put down, you can't stop reading it. So the idea was I built this for my clients. And then when I realized the challenges that I was sharing with you earlier from when I started out, I realized this is just an amazing tool for coaches who are starting out. And as Danielle said, you were talking about the workbooks as well, I think, before.
Yep.
And when you go through those workbooks, you actually submit them back to your certified practitioner. So you, as the practitioner, you get all these insights as to what's going on for that client in that environment. So you're learning so much about what their environment is, what they're going through, and then you can continue to help them on their journey of development.
Question. I'm just curious around, like, is that a product that you use with your clients in the sense that you're working with them one-on-one and you use that as a development tool? Or is it that you would do it with a whole cohort of leaders in a business and sell it as a complete program of work? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a difference. And like, for example, if I wanted to do it, but I'm not in a business, I just wanted to do it for my own self-development, could I purchase it? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, completely. Danielle wanted to say something.
Yeah, it's interesting you asked that, because as I said, I went into this thinking this was for me. But as a person who also has often human resources within me in the function of talent development, I would recommend this for both. So I think it's good for individuals if, for me, it was an education, but I also realized I need a coach. So for me as an individual, but I also think it would be great as a group. So I think it could be used as a tool for a group as well, where everyone may do it if I was recommending, but there may only be a few people out of that group that then you would continue ongoing coaching with. Because I think sometimes in some teams, depending upon which business and where they're at and if they're doing transformation, it's really good for all users to understand the direction or some of this information. So, Susanna, I spoke to Cindy about, we had just did 2 core replacement like platforms, and we had a project team, a new project team. Never in a business had anyone rolled out, had completed a project. I wish this had been rolled out to the project team, because of the things to do with structure and reporting and hierarchy. And then I think it would have been valuable for 1 or 2 of the senior people to expand on it. So my personal view as a user would be, I think it's great for individuals, but I also see it being used in smaller group or larger group.
Yeah, absolutely spot on there, Danielle. And, I think it's one of these things that's kind of like evolved and blossomed. So originally when I developed it, it was just for a leader to be able to say, well, look, I'm running a small business, I'm scaling up, or I have a division, or I'm a leader of a business group. It was for that individual. And it wasn't something that I would necessarily say is embedded in my coaching, because the coaching isn't about training. The coaching is separate coaching, individual sessions. So it's something that can be an add-on if they wish to take that. But what became really obvious to me, as Danielle said, was that so I'll give you an example. One of my clients was in Queensland government, and she was stepping up as a leader. She wanted to do the program for herself, and she did the practitioner program. So there's 2 levels. There's a standard level, and then there's a practitioner level. So as a practitioner level, you can then do all the coaching for anybody that does the standard program. So whether you're a coach or whether you're a leader of a team, you can actually do that coaching. So if Danielle now had her team of direct reports, she could do the practitioner level, and then she would be able to actually coach all the people within her team. But as a coach, you can obviously provide that service as well. Now, once you start expanding that out across multiple people in a team, you need them all to be consistent on the findings, which is coming back to where Danielle says this is more of a group facilitation. So on module 1, let's talk about culture. Okay, everybody individually goes and has their observations, comes up with what they think is right. Then you facilitate a program that says, let's all get on the same page before we move forward. And by the way, when you do other learnings, you still might come back and refine that. But what you do is you do it as a team and as a group. So everybody is on the same path all the way through. So in short, the answer to your question is the coaching is definitely separate, individual one-on-one sessions. This is something that is an add-on to that, and something that can be done as a team as well. So does that answer your question, Susanna?
Yeah, that's a great, I think it's like, it looks really worthwhile doing, and I'm interested in how would I pursue doing it if I wanted to, which I could take offline with you, but the fact that people don't understand ESG, and they don't understand diversity and inclusion, and they don't understand some of these areas that are now becoming sort of mandatory areas in business. I think there's definitely a place for future of work and hybrid, because the nature of work has actually changed significantly, and the way that we're connecting with each other as people has changed significantly. And what I'm a bit sad about is the fact that mental health and wellbeing has never been bigger on the agenda than it has in the last 2 to 3 years, or maybe 4 years. And it's really sad. Like we've got changes in legislation in Australia to do with psychosocial hazards. And, this is all going to be very important for leaders to navigate. And people like yourselves, and maybe myself as well, when I start my own business. So I'm just exploring how I can actually get into doing that program.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll hear from Tanya, and then I'll share with you some links. And I think the whole idea of tonight is just to really give you that art of possibilities, right? As I said, it's not about a hard sell. It's about what do we do at Braintree? How do we create those communities and support each other? And likewise with that kind of culture that we have, Danielle and Tanya have both stepped forward and said we want to tell everyone about this, and it's just, it breeds that kind of approach that we have. So I'll give you some details to have a one-on-one, and we can go through a little bit more information as well.
And I have to say, Daniela, that was an excellent synopsis, because we come maybe from a sort of similar background in the sense that maybe Cindy and myself do, the corporate bit, then the entrepreneurial bit, so on and so forth, Cindy's webinars, monthly webinars, are fantastic. Right, I'm Scottish. I don't give compliments out, but they are. The support you get from these webinars, is good, because that coaching. If anyone ever says, "Oh well, is that really important?" Well, yes, it is. Right, the coaching bit is so important. Pleased to hear what you've said, and I would encourage all of us to. And I don't know how you do this, Sydney. Cindy, I'll pass it across, but somehow, if we connect with this group. Whether it's we all get together in LinkedIn, or you create something like that, I don't know, but it's really powerful, because from my own point of view, and last point, Stephen Seagal, the guy that gave you the seminar on Nelson Mandela, welded psychology, welded philosophy together. My God, what a humble experience that was. And I used a lot of that in subsequent discussions, and it really works. So there's a compliment, Cindy. And thank you. That's it.
Stephen, for sure. He's one of our associates. He got to do centre stage to everybody. It was amazing.
Absolutely.
So I'll pass that on. I'm sure he'll be delighted to hear that.
Thank you
so much. So Tanya, you've got about 4 minutes. If everyone's okay for a couple more minutes, I'm just going to let and then we'll wrap up.
Quickly. Hi guys, lovely to meet you all. Okay, so Cindy and I have worked on a number of projects together because we're actually quite technical as well. So we've done cybersecurity, data security, etc., and everything like that. But typically I work in the field of mindset, getting people to have clarity, confidence, and control over the decisions that they make. Now, we decided as a business to actually take on Cindy's product because we train coaches, but we train leaders in businesses as well. And we only went so far in the conversations that we were having. And like we said, like Danielle said, and like Cindy said, and Robert, there's the world is changing, and the challenges that companies face now, leaders need to be on board and team members need to be on board. Even just if you take the one tiny element of data privacy, if people don't know what data privacy is and how they've got to protect it, and their part in making sure that's secure, that could actually send a company broke, especially if they're dealing with, clients in Europe and stuff like that. Right. And then you've got ESG, and it goes on and on and on. So really, if you're really looking to develop leaders in a very unique way and stand out, if you're a coach, as a coach, then this product is brilliant because it's different. Nobody else is doing this. I've not seen anybody do this. It's unique. And what we do is unique. So we partnered and we decided to take on board what Cindy done, and it's just working gung-ho. It's really raised our revenue because it gave it another revenue stream to our business. So so that was. But what I also think, apart from it being unique and apart from it adding value to your organization and your income, and I think especially if you're starting out, it's definitely something you would want to look at because it's not the same old programs like you know, other people are doing, but you get a community. If you know, a few of us know each other because we get on the calls, and you know, and you end up becoming part of a community, because when you're working on your own, it can actually be quite lonely. All my business partners are in America, so I've got Cindy, so I'm, you know, honored that I've got Cindy here, because it does get lonely. And I think that having that community where you can be vulnerable, you can share, you can ask for advice, you can help each other out. And even if you've got a product, Cindy gives you the opportunity as well to talk to people. So it works both ways, and she's so supportive. When you go through this journey and there's anything at all you don't understand, plus she keeps bringing new products to market as well and staying at the forefront. This digital revolution is bringing.
So Tanya came in basically through our associate program, and on the associate program, what we do, we give you a whole bunch of stuff. You have like a 4-page feature article. It goes out across all our networks. You get to take things to the stage of a presentation. In fact, Tanya did one a couple of months ago on biohacking, and Stephen, as you mentioned, Robert did one more about captain of your own ship. Fascinating. We have like sometimes up to 70 people on our calls. So, and I got to laugh because when we first started doing the webinars, I was lucky if I had 3 or 4 people, and the followership was growing thanks to Anne's help. We've got like 10,000-12,000 people following us on LinkedIn. We've got MailChimp databases. We've got Facebook. So when you're starting out, it's taken 3 years to get to that point. So, you know, as you're on your first part of the journey, it's like, how can you leverage that? How can you stand up and be part of that community? So that's really where Tanya stepped in, and then realising, of course, that the product was something, the leadership program was something that dovetailed really well with her personality coding programs. It was just like, oh my God, this is just, you know, perfect. And so as an associate, she got a discount on the program, and then as she sells that out to her friends and her colleagues, she actually got her money back for what she invested in her own trading, and she made more money on top of that as well. So it's just a win-win all around. So I'm not going to go on too much about that. Everybody who comes to the webinars knows that we always give something away, and we had quite a lot of things that we were giving away tonight, and I can't even go through them all. We had different bonus things. Because one of the things that occurred to me was, again, if you haven't got social media presence, do you have blogs? Do you have posts that you put out? Do you have brochures? Do you have videos? I mean, that stuff costs tens of thousands of dollars to do, and we've already done it, so we'll make that available to you. So that's all part of what we'll do to support you, as Tanya said, end to end. We'll help you with the pre-sales, we'll help you with the support and the sales, and we'll help you with the support and onboarding as well. So it's just all there. We're not hiding anything, we'll just give it all to you. The next step for us would be to have more of a detailed discussion, just to understand a little bit more about your own journeys, and obviously I just want to really give my heartfelt thanks to both of them as well for joining tonight. I didn't ask them to, they put their hands up and said we're here to help, so I really do appreciate that, and maybe Esther listens to me all night.